What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Alex here from Team Generations, back again with another deck profile. Today we're going to be looking at a list for Spectral Duke Dragon for Gold Paladins out of Clan Selection Volume 1. So this is really a Tier 1 deck, really powerful, just an oppressive kind of rush style, just beating down your opponent and restanding kind of Vanguard. So I'm going to go over it all during this profile. I am super excited to bring this to you guys. I think this tied with Ghosties are pretty much like the best decks out of Clan Selection. So without further ado, let's hop right into that. Alright, and before I begin, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has subscribed so far. We're at like 300 something subs. I really can't believe it. Thank you guys so much. If you do enjoy this content, just checking it out for the first time, whatever the case may be. If you do learn anything today, I ask that maybe you do hit that subscribe button, maybe leave a like on the comment, but without further ado, let's start. So we are starting off with 4 of the boss unit himself. This is Spectral Duke Dragon. So his skill continues on Vanguard Circle. If you have a Black Dragon Knight Vortimir in your soul, this unit gets an additional 1k, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, this unit gets an additional critical. Its second skill, auto on Vanguard Circle. Once per turn, at the end of battle that it attacked, we get to cost, counterblast 1, retire 3 rear guards, stand this unit, and this unit gets a -1 drive until the end of turn. If our damage zone has 4 or more cards, this unit gets an additional drive +1 instead of drive -1. So whole lot going on here. We have obviously a restanding Vanguard, which is very effective in the premium. I feel like to be competitive in general, you just need that multi-attack kind of engine, and to have it on the Vanguard Circle makes it very competitive in general. Also, I know the retire 3 rear guards seems like a lot, but in Gold Paladin, I mean, everything pretty much calls a card, so it's really not too bad at all. A couple cards do have effects too that when retired from rear guard circle go into soul. It does other things as well, so it's not as heavy as it might seem on the surface. And that first ability to the continuous, that is on your opponent's turn and your turn, so becoming a little bit more defensive in that it has that 13k, and offensive actually too, in that it has that 13k body. Not hard to get that Vortimir in soul that you need. That extra critical really applies pressure. Like a restanding Vanguard with at least 2 crits both times are just really solid. So overall, great card. I really think that this is a huge winner in Clan Selection. And yeah, this, like I said, this deck is definitely like a tier 1 meta deck. Alright, moving right along into our next grade 3, we are still running 4 of this guy. This is Bluish Flame Liberator Percival. So its skill continues on Vanguard Circle. All the units on your additional rearguard circles get an additional 5k attack. Its second skill, auto on Van or rearguard circle when placed. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, we get to cost, counterblast 1, discard a card from our hand, get an imaginary gift, excel, search your deck or drop zone for up to 1 Oath Liberator Aglovel, call to rearguard circle. And if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. This ability may only be used with a card with the same name once per turn. So very nice to be able to get that additional Excel circle. I know you are discarding from hand, but like it says in the skill, if you discard that Oath Liberator Aglovel, I mean, you can get it right back, so you're not really negging, you're just, you know, kind of, it's a wash there, it's a little bit of a filter. Very effective in that regard. And you can also run a smaller amount of Aglovels because of his skill. Like, you know, if you retire them, guard out with them, whatever it is, like you can still call it from drop, which is really nice. But in this deck, like I said, we kind of want to be flooding on our grade 3, like our first grade 3 ride, and as a result, getting that extra Excel circle is really effective. We don't use its first skill too much, but this is like amazing utility. I feel like if any Excel deck kind of had access to this, they would definitely run the carbon copy of that card in their deck. So next up for our grade 3s, we are running 3 of Full Cavalier Dragon. Its skill, act on Van or rearguard circle once per turn. We get to Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of our deck and call it to rearguard circle. And one of our Vanguards get an additional 5k until the end of turn. So this is super effective too. Soul Blast isn't really too costly in this deck. A lot of things go back into our soul, which is nice. And then calling that extra card can fuel the bodies on board needed for that Spectral Duke Dragon, which is really nice. On top of that too, giving your Vanguard an additional 5k, like you're swinging twice with your Vanguard. You want to make it as powerful as possible. So really nice in that regard. Now, I was playing around with the ratios for a bit. I saw a couple of people running, Pelennor. I was trying that at like a 1 of, and this is at a 2 of. I just think this is like a more standard build. This is more like just pretty much like vanilla. If you want to go for that spicy play, like, you know, you can drop one of these down and add that Pelennor. It is a really nice play when it does go off, but I think I just like the consistency of the Full Cavalier Dragon a little bit more, so that's why I am recommending, I mean, as like a base build, to run 3 of those. Alright, moving right along then into our grade 2s. We have, of course, no surprise here, 4 of the Black Dragon Knight, Vortimir. So his skill continues on Van or rearguard circle. If you have a Scout of Darkness Vortimir in your soul, this unit gets an additional 1k. Its second skill, when retired from rearguard circle by your card's ability, cost, put this card into your soul and counter charge 1. Its third skill, when wrote upon by Spectral Duke Dragon, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, call up to 2 cards from among them to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. So really nice card. I mean, the last skill, when wrote upon by that Spectral Duke, like if you follow the ride chain, I mean, that's so free. Look at the top 5 cards and call 2 cards from them. Like, I mean, that's, you know, you're conserving your hand size. You can potentially get really good calls on board, which can then result in other calls possibly going out. So really, really nice in that regard. Also, the countercharge one I think is very effective as well. So I actually cut Dindrain from this. I noticed my games didn't last all that long. Like I usually ended up winning by my second grade 3 turn, and I didn't run out of counterblast necessarily. I feel like this guy was enough to kind of keep me going with my counterblast. So if you did want to, you know, you can pop in Dindrain for, I'll show you what you could sub out a little bit later, but I think this guy is sufficient enough for your countercharging engine. And obviously too, just having that additional 1k if you follow the ride chain helps you both defensively and offensively, pressuring for a hit on a force deck. So yeah, really nice overall. This card is super, super great. All right, moving into our next grade to them. I am actually running this guy at a 3 of. I was trying him at 4. I just find that 3 is probably the right ratio. This is Advance of the Black Chains Cahaden. So it's been around for a while, got reprinted in Clan Selection. It's skill auto on rearguard circle. When placed, counterblast 1, discard a card from your hands, and look at 3 cards from the top of your deck. Call 1 card from among them to rearguard circle, shuffle your deck, and if Stronghold of the Black Chains Hoel is on your van or rearguard circle, get to draw a card. So the discard becomes a bit of a wash, and again, you can discard Aglavale, maybe get it back with that Percival, which is really good. On top of that too, I mean, if you have Hoel on your rearguard circle or vanguard circle, whatever the case may be, you do get to draw. So like I said, a bit of a wash. Overall, when paired with Hoel, this can become really strong. I think it's good. You need cards to really dig into your deck and really call. A top 3 search is good. This is better than Vivienne because you don't have to Soul Blast for it, and it pairs well with that Hoel. So overall, I like this card. I'm running it at a 3 of. Next up, we are running 2 of this card. Now, I would run this at 3. I'll mention why I'm running it at 2 in this a little bit later, but this is Oath Liberator Aglavale. It's skill auto on Vanguard Circle. When placed, counterblast 1, look at 3 cards on the top of your deck, call up to 1 card from among them to rearguard circle, and put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Its second skill, auto on rearguard circle. When it attacks, put another rearguard into your soul, and this unit gets an additional 10k until the end of battle. At the end of that battle, return this unit to your hand. So if you don't have the Vortimir, like this is still a good ride. Like it has that nice Vanguard Circle ability where you can counterblast 1, you know, check those cards and then call something. So not too bad overall. Its second skill though is like the main reason we really want it, because when it attacks, you know, you put that other rearguard in, you could fix your soul. Let's say you found a Vortimir, you know, you called one off the top, whatever the case may be, you can fix your soul and have your Vanguard swings become a little bit more effective and just have that, you know, that soul fixed. So very effective in that regard, and getting that additional 10k, like if you hit a trigger on this on top of that 10k that it already gets, really, really nice. And you know, you can conserve this card, which allows you, by popping it back to hand, which allows you to run it at a smaller ratio. Now, I would probably bump this to 3. I just don't have access to the 3rd card. You know, if I don't have access, I'm not gonna lie and say this is like the ideal ratio, but the card that I am running in its stead, honestly, is like not terrible. And I find that I'm finding this card, like we dig through our decks so much, I'm finding this card at a 2 of, like, I feel like often enough in all of my games. So you don't want to have too many of these on the field though, because, you know, obviously your Spectral Duke retires 3 bodies. This guy's going to put another body into Soul. So I feel like just having 1, maybe 2 max on the field is really just fine. And you can search them out with the Percival, allowing you, like I said, to just run this card at a 2 of. But since I don't have access to that 3rd one, I am actually running this guy. This is not a bad option at all. I actually kind of like it. I might just keep it that way. This is Knight of Spring's Light Paramour. Its skill, act on van or rearguard circle. Once per turn, counterblast 1, call a grade 2 or less card from your hand to rearguard circle, and draw a card. Its second skill, auto on rear or guardian circle. When placed by a card's ability, this unit gets an additional 5k and 5k shield as well until the end of turn. So it's nice because obviously getting that little boost if called is always good. This second skill for the Guardian Circle, like we don't really call the same way we would in Gurguit, so not really pertinent to us. But the first skill is really nice. Like again, if you don't have the Vortimir to ride, you can call this down, kind of have a wash, call another grade 2, and then pop a card, grade 2 or less, I'm sorry, and then draw a card. So having that little extra draw power, digging deeper in the deck, kind of goes along with what we're still trying to do. And this is a good substitute card. Like if you don't have access to Aglavales, like you can swap this in, maybe drop the Percivals if you really want to, but I just think that Excel Circle, even if you don't search out the Aglavale, is still really important to have. So, you know, that could be like a budget little option to toss in there. Next up, we are moving into the grade 1s. We are looking at Scout of Darkness Vortimir. So this is, again, part of the ride chain. It's skill auto on Vanguard Circle. When placed, look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 Spectral Duke Dragon or Black Dragon Knight Vortimir from among them, and put them into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Its second skill, auto when retired from rearguard by your card's ability cost, put this unit into your soul, and one of your vanguards gets an additional 5k until the end of turn. So really nice, because this isn't like a once per turn per card or whatever. Like you can retire like 2 of these on the field for that Spectral Duke's skill, and then have it, your Vanguard gain 10k instead of just one with 5k. Also, the first skill, I mean, it's so free. When placed, look at 7 cards on the top of your deck. You just find one of the 2. You can fix your grade 2 ride chain if you don't have one in hand. You could also search out. So really nice, just helps it very consistent. I feel like any tier 1 meta deck needs like a top 7 searcher for those specific cards. And in this deck, obviously we don't want to be on anything but Spectral Duke Dragon. So very, very effective card overall. Really helps us. Awesome ride chain overall. Like this deck is insane. It's really, really good. All right, moving right along then to our next grade 1. Again, just more consistency. This is the standard grade 3 searcher for V Premium. This is Dawning Night Gurguit. Oops, daisy. I have the window finally open for, it's kind of nice here in New York for once, and of course things blowing all over. But anyway, continuous on van or rearguard circle during your turn. If 2 or more of your rear guards were called this turn, this unit gets an additional 5k, so not hard at all to get that additional 5k off. Even early in the game, really easy to get that off. And its second skill is that standard grade 3 searcher. When placed from hand, look at 5 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 1 grade 3 from among them and put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and if you put a card into your hand, discard a card from your hand. So again, consistency play. It's nice to boost with these guys. You can retire. It doesn't really matter too much. If you put this on an additional rearguard circle as well, call down those extra 2 cards. This one becomes an 18k attacker, maybe paired with the front, it could be 28k, so can be a solid little card that you call off the top as well. Moving into our next grade 1 then, this is actually the last card in the main body of the deck. This is Stronghold of the Black Chains Hoel. So it's continuous on rearguard circle. Your other unit in the same column as this unit that was placed this turn gets an additional 5k. If Advance of the Black Chains Cahaden is on your van or rearguard circle, this guy gets an additional, 10k instead of 5k. So really buffing up your field, helping you get over some of those defensive triggers that your opponent might hit. And again, this just pairs well with that whole little draw cycle that the Cahaden will get off as well. So I think this is a little bit more essential to run at a 4 of, because it does buff whatever is called to that column. And this is Gold Paladin. I mean, we're calling absolutely everything. And this was reprinted in the clan selection, so very affordable card, very accessible to a lot of people now. So really seriously solid overall, and that'll do it for the main deck. Moving right along into the triggers, this is, I don't know, I feel like outside of Aggravate maybe, I really just like going like a regular rainbow for all of my Gold Paladin decks, running 4 of the draw PGs, 4 heals, 4 fronts, and 4 crit. I feel like we benefit off of everything. Like obviously the critical triggers help us apply pressure. Like if your opponent takes it, your Vanguard is naturally on 2 critical, you can push through with that 3rd one maybe for game really, really easily. And honestly, in all my playtesting, like I think I have a pretty solid playtesting group, and like I have just not lost with this deck. I've given this to my buddy Aiden too, who, he's like a real Gold Paladin main, does really, really well all events that he goes to with it, but he has not lost on this either. So this is, I mean, definitely a tier 1 deck. I like this trigger lineup. I think it works really well. I like the deck overall. If I was to go to, a competitive event right now and I wasn't going to play Narukami, this is probably the deck I would play, because I don't think it's extremely difficult to get your mind wrapped around it, and I don't think it's, it doesn't have like super hard counters. Like you get rid of your own field. It's not hard to replenish it. Defensively, your hand is usually pretty big, so solid choice overall. But let's get into a test hand. I'll show you guys how the deck kind of plays out, some of the combos that you can do, and yeah, just my vision of how it really plays out in general. All right, let's shuffle up over here and get started. Really, really solid deck overall, just very aggressive, replaces everything on the fields very easily, so you're not calling a ton of things from hand. Very nice follow-up to, Gurguit. Obviously, Gurguit was like, it was almost game ruining. Like the game, I did not want to play with that at all. Like we tested it a little bit, but then it's just not fun. Like if you're not, if you're in competition, like I get it, you want to play the winning deck, but just tier 0 decks are never good for any TCG, so not a bad hand actually. I got the entire ride chain here. I'm just gonna put 1 front trigger back, and let's see what else we draw. Another front trigger, of course, but all right, I'll take it though. Not the worst thing in the world to have a little bit of shield. All right, let's get that going here. Going to stand and draw now. Let us ride on the Vortimir. Pretend we go first, just to make it a little bit easier. Draw off the ride, and then top 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's see what we get. Do we get, all right, so we got the grade 2. Do we get the Spec Duke? Let's see, I have a Spec Duke in my hand, right? This is the top 7. I have Spec Duke, and I do have 1 Vortimir. Do I want the second one? No, I think I'm gonna value the Spec Duke a little bit more. All right, cool, let's do that. I'm gonna shuffle this back up over here. right. And let us proceed over to our opponent's turn. I don't think I need to do anything else this turn. Boom. Full Cavalier, not too bad. We're going to stand and draw now for our turn. Let us ride on Vortimir. I'm going to hold, I think, the majority of my hand here. Maybe I can pressure a little bit with this, but I won't be able to get that 13k off to make it at least more than a 5k guard. So, yeah, I'm going to pass on that. All right, so I am going to swing. This is going to be 10k because I do have that Vortimir in soul. Swing. All right, the Hoel, which is always good to see. We don't have a Caden, but not the worst thing in the world. Pass it over to my opponent. I'm going to take 1. Let's take 2. Oh, wow, a lot of grade 3s in there. Not too good. All right, stand and draw. Let's get going with our Spec Duke over here. Let's go here. And Excel 2. Let's draw off the Excel 2. So, don't have a ton to really make things happen, but we are going to use the Vortimir skill by looking at the top 5, calling 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wow. Again, not too crazy overall. So this is going to be more of like a holdout turn. Let's see. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2 there. If you're playing against an experienced player, they probably won't give you 4 damage immediately. So tough in the early game if you are going first. Going second, this is like an amazing deck. What else do I want to do? Let's see. So I called 2 this turn, gets the additional +5. Anything else I want to do? Yeah, let's call him down. Let's see if we can get a grade 3. Maybe get a Percival. 1, 2, or whoops. That was not 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, of course. One more down. I could have got the Percival. All right, let's see. Let's do it again. I'm actually going to call the second one from my hand. Let's call him there, I guess. Yeah. I'm going to use that top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, Percival. Oh, again, we whiff. Such is the way the game goes, I guess. No biggie, though. No biggie. All right. So I feel like this is a bad demo now, but oh well. Let's go here. I'm going to swap these 2. Let us... Yeah, let's proceed. We have a lot of very defensive hands, so we'll definitely make it through next turn, but let's swing first with Vortimir here. Gets the additional +5 because it was called down this turn. Off of the Hoel, so this is 13 + 8. What is that, 21? I'm going to call also, or I'm going to swing. Yeah, I'm going to swing here. This is going to be, what is this, 13 + 5, 18. Now I'm going to swing here. I'm going to swing 1, boom, and 2. All right, heal. Let's go, I don't know, power on my Vanguard, actually, and then I do heal 1 out. All right. Actually, yeah, I'm going to kill that. That's no big deal. Now I'm going to use its skill, Counterblast 1. Going to retire 3 cards, 1, 2, and this third one goes into here. So now this is going to be, this is 13 + 5, this is just 18, 18 plus that heal trigger, this is going to be 28, drive 1, boom. Let's do power there, draw. All right, so I have a really fat hand. I have a good ride for next turn, and now I'm going to, what is this? This is going to be 13, 13, 26 plus that. This is 36, so, you know, we didn't really call a ton from him. Called a couple grade 3 searchers, but you can see my hand size is still really big. Let's just go 1 more turn. You know, let's pretend we let our opponent hit. 1, 2. All right, let's guard out now. Let's guard, you know, 1. Let's say we PG'd something here. We have 2 PGs, so that's fine. Gonna PG, guard again, whatever the case is. All right, so they end their turn. Going to now stand and draw once more. All right, so now we got 2 Percivals, the exact opposite of the problem we were having last turn. All right, let's get another guy down. Let's do draw off of that. All right, cool. Let us call skill, Counterblast 1. Let's discard a card from our hand. We don't have an Aglavale in hand to discard, no, but can't really use another Percival. It's not shield value, and I think we're going to end this turn. So we are now going to get an additional thing here, and we are going to search our deck for an Aglavale. All right, Aglavale comes out, which is very good. Shuffle up over here. So let's see, I need to swing with 3 rear guards first, and then I'm going to retire them to restand my boy. Let's go. What else am I going to call down here? I'm going to call down... Caden is not on my thing, but... Very interesting. I'm going to call down a Vortimir, and I'm going to call down my Hoel. I'm going to get the Vortimir up here. Yeah. You know what? I think we're going to end here. I'm just going to be really aggressive. This seems like a stupid play, but I've done this before where I've dropped triggers from hand, hit a crit, or hit, you know, like a front trigger, and just really works out. And I think at the end, you really want to be flooding with as many attacks as possible. So let's just pressure with something that will hit initially. So I'm going to swing with 1, 2. This is going to be 13. Then I'm going to swing here. This is going to be 13 plus 5 because of the Hoel. This was called this turn. So this is 18 plus, 8 plus the 13, no, 18, yeah, 18 plus 8 right there, 26. Am I correct in saying that? Yes, I am. All right, I'm going to swing 1 and I'm going to swing 2. No front, but no big deal. Have another chance. I'm going to swing 1, 2, and 3, and also counterblast 1. And again, this guy goes into soul. Now I'm going to restand him, and now he gets triple drive. So triple drive is pretty effective with 2 crit. Yeah, let's go. All right, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow, no triggers. Feels very, very bad, but oh well, not the end of the world. We are going to, I don't know, swing at a rear guard. So they have like a 10k, you know, rear guard, no big deal. Gonna swing with him then. Gonna put this into, actually retire, no, put this into soul. This guy gets an additional 10k, so it becomes an, what is that, 19, right? Yeah, we didn't have any triggers, 19 plus that, 24. Gonna pop him back to hand, swing 26, swing 17. So overall, that's like the main idea. Just really flood the board, get your aggressive swings out, just keep on applying pressure. Like this restanding Vanguard is huge for the deck. Really makes it very competitive. The Percival just allows you to flood your field. And if you do hit the front trigger, if you're not unlucky like me, I feel like it really does put a ton of pressure onto your opponent and just a really overwhelming second grade 3 ride. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you did learn anything during this video, I ask that maybe you do hit that subscribe button, possibly leave a like on the video. But this is Alex from Team Generations signing out.